And hello again, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Election Detection Online, the no longer bi-weekly series where we detect elects
We're
on
almost
our
daily
Twitter.
now.
That's the plan. I should look really bad if we don't, but that's the plan. So, if you like going to a place where we had a heck of a time trying to find information about, yes, you do. That's why you're here. That's why we're here too. It's called a mutual hatred. For our tale of democracy today, we're off to Mongolia to give you the ups and downs of their recent June 9th snap presidential election. Mongolia's previous elections took place back in 2017, and the previous president, I am going to apologize right now if I mispronounce this name. Trying to learn Mongolian pronunciations like trying to find information on Mongolia's elections on the internet. So the previous president, Kultmajin Batulga, had only served a little less than 4 years of his first term. He announced in April this year that he would resign, thereby dissolving the government, and issued an emergency declaration affirming this. He explained his reasons for doing so were to safeguard the sovereignty and democracy in the country after the oppositional Mongolia People's Party, the oldest party in Mongolia and historical rivals of Batulga's Democratic Party, passed a number of constitutional amendments. The amendment primarily targeted the power of the presidency. It shortened the presidential term limit from 2 4-year terms to one non-renewable 6-year term. It also passed off some of the president's power to the prime minister in order to give the people a more direct line of influence on governmental policy via the parliament. It also removed the president's ability to directly appoint judges and other judiciary positions and instead passed control over these matters to the judiciary committees within parliament. The drafting of the amendments also followed the democratic principles as the process directly involved regular citizens alongside elected officials. Now, Batulga's resignation became something of a polarizing topic in Mongolia during the run-up to this election. Some saw it as a commitment to a new government to accompany the new system. Others saw it as a protest against the weakening of the presidential power. While the actual answer could be either, it's important to note that Mongolia is actually a rare island of democracy between Russia and China. In fact, Mongolia is one of the top 10 most democratic countries in Asia. While this may not sound very high, it's important to remember that countries like Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea are some of the most democratic countries globally and take very high places on any list. So, you may ask yourself as you stare at this Twitter screen at whatever time of the day it may be, how did this election turn out, you may ask. The winner is, and again, I'm going to apologize as I pronounce this name, Uknajin Kurasuk of the Mongolia People's Party. Now, if that name sounds familiar to you, and you can't figure out why like I can, it may be because we discussed Mr. Kurasuk way back in January. Just made a dig on myself and not remembering my own stupid show when he resigned from the position of prime minister. He'd won the PM seat in a landslide victory back in June of 2020, but after a critical monitoring failure at a Russian border crossing led to the country's first COVID outbreak, during which the healthcare system had major difficulties handling their patient load, Prime Minister Kurelsuk resigned as he felt he had to assume responsibility for this crisis. The Deputy Prime Minister, Health Minister, and several senior health officials also offered their resignations to take accountability. Now, though, Mr. Kurelsuk is back in a different branch of government. He's back and he's better than ever, I guess you could say. He won this election in the first round with 68% of the vote, once again, 1% shy of being funny, in a similar landslide to his victory in the 2020 parliamentary election. His challengers were Dengasarenjan Enkbat of the Right Person Electorate Commission, who took 20% of the vote, and Sodom Zunduin Erden of the Democratic Party, who took the remaining portion of the vote. So that is our update on Mongolia. Charlie, what do you think?
I think every day that you don't get to say someone won an election with 69% of the vote is a day you go home disappointed.
I've done 2 episodes today with 68% of the vote. One vote, 1% short. Every vote matters, guys. Come on.
All in all, though, this is definitely interesting. Where we've had sort of two unrelated stories in Mongolia, and I thought it was kind of funny that we always kept coming back to the same guy.
It's the Mongolian electoral universe.
Pretty much. I mean, last time we did it was because, the Prime Minister of Mongolia resigns. Who is this guy? Okay, it's this guy. This time we come back and it's new president of Mongolia. Oh, it's the same guy. How's he
Oh,
doing?
hey, how's he doing? How you doing?
It's like we ran into him
Great.
when we were getting coffee. Only he was prime minister last time, and now he's president.
I like that one guy who gets promoted all the time, even though like he always does things like lets COVID into his country.
I mean, what kind of a I don't know, lateral career shift is that? You get to the prime ministership and then something goes wrong and you resign like 8 months later, and then less than 8 months after that, you're president.
This is the weirdest anime I've ever seen.
If he resigns in 8 months and then gets appointed back to the prime ministership or something, it's just like the poor man's trying to escape and they just keep reeling him back in. No, you're
Don't make me
going.
president. Don't make me president.
You're going to be in charge of this country.
You are going to be president.
All right. Overall, though, it's definitely interesting to see the changes they made, and definitely separating the presidential branch, the executive branch, from the judiciary is far and away a good idea,
Yeah.
because then at least you have multiple people that have to sign off on everything you do with it.
Oh, look,
So,
a People's Party actually doing something good for their people.
yeah, exactly. That's the first People's Party I've ever seen that actually did anything for the people. Most places that you have a People's Party, it's the most horrifying thing. Looking at you, Max Bernier, we popped the champagne when you got arrested. We hope to repeat the process again in the future.
Arizona, do you want them?
No, they're not quite that far. It'd have to be on Arkansas or something.
Shoot.
But it is like the old rule that they talk about, where almost any country that has democratic peoples in the name is generally not democratic or for the people. And I had to laugh earlier today. I saw a little graphic. It was to do with the UN vote, and there was a typo on it where they had doubled up the name for the Democratic Republic of Congo. And the way that they ended up doubling it up was Democratic People's Republic of the Democratic Republic of Congo. And I just kind of had to laugh I don't think anywhere on earth's ever tried to sell it that hard.
Do you think he's overcompensating for something?
Just a bit. Anyway, I think that's just about all the time that we've got today. So we will see all of you lovely little electric detectors sometime down the road.
Yes, this is Johnny Robertson, and this is my co-host,
Charlie Cutro.
We are signing off for today's installment of Election Detection Online.
We will see you all later.